Hey, what's going on? I'm Apprentice Zaman, and in today's video, we're going to do a review on the Dyln Water Bottle. This is a test that many people have been asking for, so let me go ahead and get this going. I already have it set up, right? So you hear the Vita Beats in there. And if you're curious on how I set up this bottle, I will have a link in the description that shares how I went about setting up this bottle, okay? And I'm really nervous about this one. The reason why is because many things. But before we get going, let's go ahead and add in our water. And we're going to do a purified water, and so we're going to use Dasani for this one, okay? Let's go ahead and get it opened up and pour it in here. I think this is about 1.3 liters for the Dyln bottle, so I have 2 bottles here, so I can fill it up as close as I can. And like I was sharing before, I'm really nervous about this test because I did a YouTube search to see other reviews that were done on this water, and all I saw was positive stuff. And I know there's a lot of people who are affiliates for the Dyln Water Bottle and promote it. So hopefully there's no offense to them whenever we try this test to see what happens. But we got to keep it real. And if you know the test that I do, you know what we're testing for. Alright, it's a little bubbly. It's a little bubbly. So the diffuser beads is doing something. But let me put this lid on real quick. And if you're wondering why I'm using purified water, it actually says on the instructions quite a few things that I actually have right here. Number one, it says since the water does not come with a filter, does not filter water, we recommend using filtered or purified water. Okay. So let's go ahead and set the timer, because the other thing that this does, as far as the instructions, it says fill your bottle with drinking water, wait 15 to 20 minutes, the diffuser will start alkalizing the water immediately, and the water will reach a pH level over 8 up to 9.5. So that's what we're going to be testing along with the other things that are on this. So let's set this timer for 20 minutes. Which I already have, and there we go. That clock is going. So a couple other things I want to share before I step away, because I'm not standing here the whole 20 minutes. And that is one, I know a lot of people may not use purified water as their way of filling their Dyln bottle. So I am doing 2 other tests beside this. One is going to be a spring water, and another one's going to be a distilled water. So hopefully those cover most of the bases. If you're using tap water, they don't recommend it, and I don't recommend it either. So you gotta at least I'll recommend getting away from that. And we're going to test this bottle for a few things. One, it says that it reduces the ORP down to a negative 150. And the other thing is that it says that it increases the pH up to 9.5. And so we're going to see if it does it in the 20-minute time frame. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't do it at all. It may or may not do it in the 20-minute time frame, so we're going to test that out now. So I'm going to go step away for a moment, and I will see you once the timer's up. All right, so that ends this test. Let me go ahead and put this away. Or not ends the test, but it ends the timer. Oh my gosh. So let's see how this looks. Looks the same. So we're gonna see what happens here. We got this Dasani. This is gonna represent our purified water version of this test. Try to make sure it looks good. And then we're going to be comparing it to this electrolyzed reduced water. Trying to make sure I do about the same amount for both. That looks pretty close. And the first test I'm going to do is all about antioxidants. Now, this is the most important test of all the tests I do today. And yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to use this brand new ORP meter, which stands for Oxidative Reduction Potential. And this is from Pinpoint. And we're going to put this wand into both of the waters. Like, I literally calibrated this today to make sure everything was good for this test, because it says it does a negative, reduces it down to a negative 150 on the ORP. So when I put this wand into both of these beverages, if we get a positive number, that means that this is registering it as being an oxidizing water. If we see a negative number, that means it is an antioxidant water, all right? So let's go ahead and get this on. And for our first test, in fact, let me put these bottles down. We don't need these bottles up here. Oh, so for our first test, let's see what we get with Dyln's purified water version. What are we getting? Oh my gosh. This is a new meter and it's doing a positive 300. So I don't know what's going on here. I did calibrate it. And it's doing 330. Okay, so right now the meter is saying that's oxidizing. Let me go ahead and try this electrolyzed reduced water and see if that changes anything. We're gonna move that over and we'll see what we get. All right, so it's not broken because we're seeing that dash. We're seeing a negative number here, and we are seeing a negative 769, negative 770, and it's still going down, which means that this meter is saying that this water here is an antioxidant rich water. That's a very low ORP. Testing the ORP of our distilled water, the meter is saying that is a positive 225, while the spring water is showing up around a positive 265. All right, so to learn more about why I say this is the most important test and get a deep dive into ORP, check out the video that I have for you. It is either here, on this side, or it's on the other side. Either way, that video will tell you more about why antioxidants, in my opinion, is the most important test. All right, now that we got test number 1 out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into our next test. All right, on to our second test. This one is all about alkalinity, and so many people know about this, and if you bought this bottle, many people have bought it because it is said to take your water and turn it to alkaline. All right, so we're expecting it to get to a 9.5 pH based on the paper here, and we're going to use these pH drops. These are from Ion Faucet, also brand new, because I haven't seen anything about this test being different. But what we're going to do is we're going to take these drops, we're going to put them in both of the waters. If we see a red or orange or yellow, that indicates that the water is acidic. If we see a blue or purple or dark purple, that means that it's alkaline. All right. Let's see what we get here with purified water version of Dyln water. All right, so based on these drops here, we are seeing that the purified water of Dyln is looking acidic, is registering it as acidic. And I feel that makes sense, mainly because purified water doesn't have any minerals. So it has to rely on the beads, but I don't know, the beads it doesn't look like the beads changed much to this, right? While the electrolyzed reduced water is looking between a 9 and a 10 on the pH scale. All right, so we're gonna take these same pH drops and put them into both the distilled and the spring water. And then we also put them into our electrolyzed reduced water, which looks like it maintains its purple. The distilled, however, when we stir it up, we end up looking like it stays the same at a 6, while the spring water is around an 8. Now, if you want to learn about the truth about pH, at least in my opinion, I have a video that deep dives into that as well. You can find that once again to the left or right of me. I go deep into the truth about pH and share scientific studies and references to books along the way. All right, so this is already blowing my mind. Like, I don't know what to say right now, but let's go ahead and jump into our next test. Alrighty, on to our third test. I like calling this one superior hydration, and this is really seeing if the water is actually small enough to pass through and hydrate us. And we're going to do that by making tea. We're going to test that by trying to make tea. And I know you're probably thinking like, oh, Prentice, this is one of the craziest tests, but I'm telling you right now, this is one of the ones that completely blew me away. And the reason why is because we have different size waters. And we need them to be small enough to get past our aqua pouring and actually hydrate us, fire up that ATP, get rid of that waste, and bring us the nutrients, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to make tea. And we're gonna take our purified water version of Dyln and we're pour it over this tea bag real quick. Actually, let me get that setting down. Get this one down as well. So the first one we're doing, of course, is Dyln. Oh, this cap is sneaky. And then we're going to take the electrolyzed reduced water, put in this one here. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give these both 10 dunks. So we're going to see if they're able to make tea, and if so, like how strong is it, all right? So let me grab both of these, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so as we can see here, the electrolyzed reduced water made a dark tea while we're barely seeing anything from the Dyln with the purified water. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I do this tea bag test with the distilled water and the spring water. And I do it with fresh tea bags, give them 10 dunks, and it looks like regardless of which one I try, I get the same results with both of these waters. Alright, for bonus, what we're going to do here is we're going to take our tea bag. Actually, we're going to do it one more time. Let me squeeze this out. And let me squeeze it out on this side here. And we're going to do this one more time just to make sure it wasn't a trick or it wasn't a prank. Alright, so we'll do the Dyln. And we'll do electrolyzed reduced water over here. Try to make sure it's the same height. As you see, this one's already starting to make the tea, right? But let's go ahead and actually I really don't even need to test it again, but maybe the Dyln will change this time. Let's check it out. Let me move this over a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's still looking just about the same. Actually, this is actually looking a little bit darker now, right? So there's one more thing I want to do. And that is I'm going to take some tea from this and put it into both of these cups over here. Because sometimes we have just a little bit of water in us, but not a ton. And we want to make sure, whether we're taking BCAAs or whether we're cooking and we're using some seasonings and we maybe don't have enough, we want to use our water here to maybe get the most out of that seasoning or get the most out of that pre-workout. Right? So, try it one more time with the Dyln water. And as we see here, it's really diluting the tea that was in there, okay? And then we're going to try this again over here with electrolyte reduced water. And that's crazy, that's still able to make tea, right? And I'm telling you right now, there's tea in these other ones, it's just not the right water. So there it is. I have tested the Dyln water bottle using 3 different kinds of waters. And really quick, here's a recap on the tests I've done and how each one turned out. The first thing we tested for was antioxidants because we wanted to see if this had antioxidant potential. So we used the ORP meter. And when we did, we saw that we got a positive so-and-so, right? Which showed that was oxidizing, while the electrolyte reduced water showed this negative number. When we compared it with the spring and the distilled water, it looked like the spring water did a little bit better, but the distilled, not so much. But regardless, they were all oxidizing. The second test we did was on alkalinity. We put the pH drops into all 3 of these, and it looked like it didn't really change the pH much. It didn't change any of them to 9.5. And in fact, they all look the same pH as when you first get them from the store. The last test we did was on superior hydration. We wanted to see if we can get hydrated at a cellular level using these waters. And it looks like regardless of whichever one we chose, it barely did any hydration, while the electrolyte reduced water made a darker and bolder tea, showing that this could get into the cells better and move nutrients throughout. So first off, I want to say this is I wasn't expecting what happened, but just keep in mind that I did the 20 minutes, you saw the timer, right? And so I know they share this and promote this on the bottle, but just because it says the 20 minutes doesn't mean that it's not doing its job. Maybe it takes a little bit longer, maybe the way I set it up was wrong or something like that. So I'm not saying the bottle doesn't do what it's supposed to do. It just didn't work with the test that I did using the waters that I used. So I'm not sure what waters you use, but some things to consider are this. Number 1, you're paying for the bottle because of the minerals that it provides in there. And on top of this, you're buying bottled water. So you're actually paying twice because you have to constantly replace the beads. I've learned that myself. And you're buying bottled waters hoping that this gives you the alkaline, antioxidant, negative ORP that you're looking for, right? So it comes with an additional cost. And what I've noticed is, at least from my test, regardless of the bottled water type that I picked, whether it was spring, distilled, or purified, it ended up being the same thing. Like, it didn't really change much when I did these tests. The second thing is usually to get that negative ORP is not just a mineral change, okay? So normally, just about all the waters I've tested in the past that was alkaline, it was missing that either the hydrogen or the electrical charge. And unfortunately, at least when I did this test, I wasn't getting neither of those from the minerals in here. However, of course, you can grab a ORP meter. There's plenty of them out there. And do this test for yourself if you own one of these and see what happens for you. One of the other things I want to share is if you're using tap water, because I did a quiz and some of you actually shared that you're using tap water to go into this, know that it is not a filter. So you need to be using some type of filtered water in order to get the most out of this. All right. So with all those extra things coming about, me personally, especially after seeing these tests, I'm not someone who will end up recommending the Dyln water bottle right now, mainly because I haven't seen the results that they have on their papers, right? That they advertise. Okay. So with that being said, that concludes this test. If, once again, you want to see how I set it up, you want to see the tools I use, any of that stuff so you can get it and try it for yourself, that's what I would recommend doing. I will have those links in the description of this video. And then last but not least, if you are looking for a water that has a negative ORP, that is alkaline in the way that it's meant to be, and has a superior hydration aspect, which we didn't see from any of these, then you want to check out my masterclass to learn more about this electrolyte reduced water. That will be the first pinned comment beneath this video. All right, I know that's a lot of links I just gave, but I gotta give them all out there because I don't know, this can help you if you know someone who's drinking Dyln or is an affiliate and who are doing their drops and everything. You may want to share this video with them. I think it will help share some perspective, and I don't know, can help anyone out, right? So once again, thanks for hanging out with me. You stayed here this long. I really appreciate you. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.